Then there was a famine in the days of David 3 years, year after year. And David inquired of the Lord. And the Lord answered, "It is for Saul and for his bloody house, because he slew the Gibeonites." And the king called the Gibeonites, and said unto them, "Now the Gibeonites were not of the children of Israel, but of the remnant of the Amorites. And the children of Israel had sworn unto them, and Saul sought to slay them in his zeal to the children of Israel and Judah. Wherefore David said unto the Gibeonites, What shall I do for you? And wherewith shall I make the atonement, that ye may bless the inheritance of the Lord? And the Gibeonites said unto him, We will have no silver nor gold of Saul, nor of his house. Neither for us shalt thou kill any man in Israel. And he said, What ye shall say, that will I do for you. And they answered the king, The man that consumed us, and that devised against us that we should be destroyed from remaining in any of the coasts of Israel. Let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them up unto the Lord in Gibeah of Saul, whom the Lord did choose. And the king said, I will give them. Before we go further, we need to understand a few questions as regards the foundations in the matter at hand. 1. Who are the Amorites and the Gibeonites, and what was the commands given to Israel concerning them? 2. Who is Rizpah in this story? In answer to the first question, the origin of the Amorites, Genesis chapter 10 records some of the genealogy of Noah's 3 sons. One of those 3 sons, Ham, fathered Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Canaan were Sidon and Heth, as is recorded in Genesis chapter 10 verses 15. The Bible continues in Genesis chapter 10 verses 16 to 18 to say Canaan also fathered the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Archites, the Sinites, the Arvadites, the Zemarites, and the Hamathites. Afterward, the clans of the Canaanites dispersed. What is the meaning of Amorites? We first read about the Amorites in Genesis chapter 10. The Hebrew form of Amorite is a transliteration of Amuru or Babylonian. They were the prevailing peoples in their area, which the Babylonians called the land of the Amorites. Their name means highlanders or hillmen. The Amorites were people known to indulge in adultery, child sacrifice, homosexuality, prostitution, idolatry, and witchcraft. God's judgment upon the Amorites was foretold by God to Abraham in Genesis chapter 15 verses 16, when God says, speaking of Abraham's descendants, Then in the 4th generation they will return here, for the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet complete. In Deuteronomy chapter 7 verses 1 to 6, God commands Israel to utterly destroy the Amorites and other nations inhabiting the Promised Land. This directive is part of God's judgment against these peoples for their idolatry and immoral practices. The Amorites, known for their defiance against God's laws, symbolize the broader judgment on all nations who oppose God's righteousness. This command underscores God's sovereignty in establishing Israel as a holy nation and purging the land of wickedness. Who then are the Gibeonites? The Gibeonites were Hivites, Joshua chapter 9 verses 7, one of the Canaanite people God had singled out when he commanded the people of Israel. Deuteronomy chapter 7 verses 1 to 2, You shall make no covenant with them. Rizpah in the Bible was the concubine of King Saul. and the mother of Harmony and Mephibosheth. In the Bible, a concubine was a woman acquired by a man as a secondary wife, or a side chick in the current world of promiscuity. Her purpose was to provide a male heir in the case of a barren wife, to provide more children in general, to enhance the family's workforce and wealth, and to satisfy the man's sexual desires. Thus, Rizpah served the purpose of a concubine to King Saul. The concubine essentially was not considered an heir to any of the wealth, because she did not possess the same status of her children. She fell as an outcast and a vulnerable woman in the society. In the book of Joshua chapter 9 verses 15, it is recorded that Joshua made peace with the Gibeonites, sealing with them a covenant to let them live, contrary to the instructions given to Moses in Deuteronomy chapter 7. King Saul then kills the Gibeonites, going against the covenant made by Joshua and the Gibeonites. Two wrongs do not make a right. Covenants must be kept and honored, regardless of who you make them with and the circumstances surrounding it. Apostle Paul warns us in the 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 14 against being unequally yoked with unbelievers, highlighting the incompatibility between righteousness and unrighteousness, thus light and darkness. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verses 5 affirms believers as children of light and day, distinct from those of night and darkness. Regardless of your position as a child of God, if you make covenants with the world, make sure you settle. You cannot escape your actions up to generations to come. Watch out for part 2 as the story unfolds. Shalom and welcome.